Hello everybody, Gisele Grenier here. In this video lesson, I'm going to create a small piece of art using cutouts and some metallics. I want to make this kind of an industrial piece. And so I guess the focus of this lesson is basically use scrap material. So I did some stuff ahead of time. What I did is I've got these plates, these texture plates, and they fit into my Big Shot machine. Now if you don't have these, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I've had these and I haven't used them in a long time. I thought, you know, let's put them to use. And what they are is they're clocks. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. They're clocks. So what I did is I took some scrap leftovers from a book of backgrounds I did. Now you can tell this is not the size of an artist trading card, but that doesn't matter. I'm not going to put it to waste. I took one of these and I put it in the folder, and then I ran it through my Big Shot, which is a machine that does impressions and cutouts and stuff like that. If you don't have it, no big deal. Just find something that's got, you know, texture on it or has some embossing, anything. An old Christmas card, that would work well. An old Christmas card. So that's what I use that for. Then I also used additional scrap and I ran it through the to make the die cuts, and these are all little. I don't like opening these because chaos usually comes a running, and these are all these little gears, and they are a bugger to work with. All these little gears, and that other, and I was able to get these out of some scrap pieces of my book of backgrounds. So I've got all these little doodads here. And then I have a leftover piece. I was creating some components out of resin, and this is a leftover piece, and I thought it was kind of cool. So I broke that off and I filed the edges a little bit. And then this is not scrap, but these are some pieces that my friend Allison made for me. And I'm gonna you guys hate it when I use these numbers in artwork because nobody has yet been able to figure out the significance of these numbers. 369. So I'm going to be using that. So this should be a clue. Industrial. 369. Can't go any further than that. Okay, so the paints I'm going to be using, and I've got them out from what I think I'm going to use, but I might pull them out, add more in. The DecoArt matte metallics of aged bronze, silver, and pewter. And then I've got the DecoArt media fluids, titanium white, ultramarine blue, and burnt sienna. You guys know what I'm going to do with these ones. And then I've got some mediums. I've got some gesso, white gesso, heavy gel medium gloss, and matte medium. But I'm going to be using these two together to create something satin. And then if the glue that I make up with these doesn't really work out, I'm going to be using the liquid glass, which I have upside down, because that way I don't have to get a bunch of air in there. So with running this through the embossing plate, you get something like that. Okay, you get something like that. So let's just put that aside, and I'm going to get a little kitchen cloth. Move. And I'm just going to rub out a little bit of gesso, not much, just to kind of set some of those pieces back, and I'm going to wipe it out. A lot of you say, well, why do you add gesso and then wipe it out? It adds to the effect. You may not think it adds to the effect, but it does. So right now you can see that now you can really see the clocks. And then what I'll do is I can use either a Q-tip or baby wipe. I'm going to try with the kitchen cloth. Come in and then just come in and just start removing a little bit where, you know, random spots. I'm going to leave a lot of that there. Oh, I hate it when this happens. Oh, I know what I think I want to do. Yep. I have to bring another piece of paint. I'm going to put the gesso back. You can rub out some of the areas just to get some interesting interesting thing. So the color underneath is showing through because the gesso is applied very, very lightly. And I don't know why I keep doing this, because the color's not mating. I'm going to add some transparent red iron oxide to this. So you can see here I had the water, and then I wiped it off. You can see still a little bit of gesso, but it's coming up. I've got some texture in there. So that's all I'm doing, is just basically picking up a little bit more water. And it's going to be irregular, which is what I want. I don't want a perfect layer of paint. Timing is everything. So if you only have, like, let's say this is the only piece that you have to work with, this particular card or whatever, practice on a scrap piece of paper. That way you're not going to lose, because it's all about timing. It's all about timing. Now, if you really want to take a lot off, use rubbing alcohol. There we go. Love that. Love, love, love. Okay, gonna cover that up. That won't take long to dry. Turn around. Transparent red iron oxide. You gotta make sure it's dry, 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 dry. Chaos is under my table. I'm waiting for her to jump, so that's why I haven't put the paint out on the palette yet. Because you know what happens when she usually comes to visit, right? Small amount. That's all you need. Okay, so that's the trick. Now, DecoArt doesn't make this anymore. Bad, bad, bad. Absolutely love this. Here's a poll for you. Okay, so in the comments below, I want you guys to let me know how many of you actually use transparent red iron oxide in your artwork. Let me know in the comments below. One of my favorite pigments. Look, I forgot to get water for my brush. That's okay. Now, what you can do, we're going to be putting a layer of transparent paint on here, so we're going to be glazing. And what's going to happen is going to create some optical color mixing. So because transparent red iron oxide is transparent, everything that's underneath is going to show through. So if you're working on something that's not sturdy, because this is a pretty sturdy card, what you can do is use matte medium instead of water with the paint, and then what it's going to do is going to create a barrier layer, so it's going to create extra strength, and that will help you. But ideally, you know, you want to try to work with something that's got some substance to it. And matte medium is a good substitute for water if you forget to fill your bucket. Not for cleaning though. See, it just adds a little extra something. And you can do this as often as you want. But remember, if your background is dark, you're just really going to get more of a hint of color. But if your background is light, it's really going to show up. That's really all I need. Because I want to add, when I add these cards, these pieces, I want there to be contrast. But I'm going to be painting some of these with additional color. All right, I have to go rinse my brush now, so I'm going to get some water. Right, so now I've got my pieces out. Got my numbers. So I've got the paints out here. So what I have is I have different mixtures to make the chromatic black. So 2 parts ultramarine blue to 1 part of the burnt sienna. And then I have equal parts of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, and then 1 part burnt sienna, 2 parts burnt sienna, 1 part ultramarine blue. So this is going to make something like a Payne's gray. This is going to make the chromatic black, and this is going to make something more like burnt umber. And then I have the metallics here. So I have the pewter, the silver, and the aged bronze. Now what I do, and just to give you an idea, so I've got these Q-tips. These are the Q-tips from the Grip Tools. They're all these different size cotton swabs. Shouldn't say Q-tips. Q-tips is a brand. So with the really, really long ones, because for art, I don't really need to use something this long unless I'm doing something more abstract. But what I do with these sticks is once I've used the Q-tip, I don't throw them out. And what I do is, like for the paints, for these bottles here, I'll show you. So I'll go in and I'll stir them up. I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So I'll stir them up. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll take that out. Then I'll come here and I'll use another one. I hope you can see what I'm doing. And I'll scrape it out. Okay, not going to go overly crazy scraping it off. And then what I'll do is I can use a dirty paper towel, and then all I'm going to do is just wipe this down, and I'm going to cover the whole stick. Now these are for dirty ones. Dirty cotton swabs. And it ends up painting the actual stick, which now I can take that and use it in art. I still have leftovers there. Okay. Do you know the art store sells this type of stuff? Why? You can make it yourself. And I know I always like boosting the economy, but right now, I'm going to be more into reducing, reusing, and recycling because, yeah. Anyways, won't go there. All right, so I've got that. Now I can also use these. Let me just use another one to mix up if I didn't want to use a palette knife. And using little sticks like that gives you a much more modeled paint. Just take that and I'll go into this one. It's more marbled. And then go into this one. Love it. And then I can repeat the exercise. I didn't get so much on there, but I can then dip this into whatever's left over and make another stick. So what I did here will come up in another piece of art. All right, so now I'm going to just randomly go around. This is way more paint than I need. I'm just going to randomly go around and just gently, where's my chaos? I bet you she knocked them on the floor. Okay, okay, these ones have glue on them. So I'm just going to come in and just randomly paint these. When I say randomly paint them up, I mean randomly, like, I'm not going to do a complete layer of color. Some will have a bit of paint, some won't, like this one here. I've got paint here and here, nothing here. Let me get a close-up for you so you can see that I didn't completely cover it with paint. And so it's randomly meaning application. But what I want to do is I want to think about how I'm going to overlap these, that I want to make sure I have light, mediums, and darks. And I use my brush, go into the paint, and just like the silver, and then do another bronze. I love the aged bronze. Oh my goodness. And just move them around so they don't get stuck into a particular color. The pewter. Move that around so it doesn't get stuck. And what I'm doing, when I say it doesn't get stuck, I can put the paint here. Then there's ridges of paint inside the hole. So I'm just going to move it here and the ridges are gone. Whoopsie, ridges are gone. Go into a flat color. So if I turn around, once I'm ready to assemble it, these are too dark. Like this one. Oh my goodness. Try that again. See, that one didn't really show up much. I can turn around and come in with some silver and put a little bit of silver on there. No biggie, just make sure it dries first. Okay. Put a little bit of the pewter, just like that. I want the gears to be... I'm loving the pewter. What if I took the silver into this one here? Bloody heck, that's gorgeous. So using the silver, do I have white metallics? Oh, I do too. So there's an idea for you. Use a metallic to tint a flat acrylic. Yeah. There's an idea. So if you guys have any metallics that you don't like, how about trying to use them to color paint? I like that. So I'm going to put these aside. I may have to adjust and tweak some of these colors a little bit. Move this here, 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 here. Okie dokie smoky. Now one thing I have to make sure I do, come on, which I am lazy on, is to clean my tools. And I don't know how much of that was off camera, and I apologize. I'm going to zoom the camera back out in a second. Now I'm going to paint the numbers. Now I have to choose what color I want to paint the numbers. I want to do these, I'm going to do these in the Age Bronze. And thank you, Allison, so much for making these for me. I think it's paper mache. I want to thank you guys for sending me a bunch of stuff to use in artwork. I have to say, during when we were moving the studio into this small room, that I was trying to carry a crate, and I had a paint flare. I dropped the crate, and the box that carried all the pieces you guys have sent in separate containers fell on the floor. And now a lot of the stuff, I have no idea who sent me what. So if ever I do artwork and I will say I was sent this, but I don't remember from who, please don't take offense to it. It's because I just dropped the crate. But I would love it if I use something that's from blah, 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 blah. If I use something that you gave me, please, please, please let me know in the comments that you sent it, because I want to give you a big thank you shout out. But these I know that Allison made because they were in a box. Some of the stuff that you guys send me is quite challenging to work with, but I really do appreciate it. And you know what? It helps me come up with ideas of stuff that you guys can do with your pieces. So if you've got stuff that you're ready to throw out, or you just don't know what to do with it, and if you can spare some, send me a private message through either the Facebook group, or go to artplace.ca and click the contact link and send me a message through the website. That would be the better way, because Facebook, I don't always see the private messages because there's just too many. And then I can give you an address of where to send it. There we go. So let those dry. Okie dokie smoky. Now, the assembly at this part is really simple. I'm not putting a quote on this because the numbers 369 is really the focal point of the story. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. All right, so that's just going to now take a minute to assemble. So because this part kind of gets lost a little bit, I'm going to put the contrasting part on top, this way, up high. And then the overlap will be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap every piece. And however I assemble it, I know that's not how it's going to turn out. So you don't have to use them all. I want to make sure that's still wet, so I can't put that in there. I'm going to... Oops, that's what I wanted to avoid. Too much paint in there. There we go. I'm going to sneak. I'm going to kind of bring it down. Actually, I have to overlap that one. That one's going to sit by itself. But see how you want to make sure you want to get some lights and some darks? This, you know what? This is a little dark. But I think because the numbers are the focus, everything else is secondary. Remember I talk about that? That your focal point, what you want to focus on, is the star of the show. Everything else is just a supporting actor, which doesn't reduce the importance of a supporting actor. Everything else should kind of be in the background. Oh, Oops, I didn't get paint on the inside there. So that's what I'm looking at. I would love to tell you more meaning about the individual components, but that's going to give away the answer. Well, will it give away the... Yeah, I think it might give away the answer a little bit. There we go. So that's what I'm looking at doing there. That by itself is enough. You know that? This here isn't needed. That's not even needed. That actually, to me, kind of takes away. It's too much. So I think I might just leave it like that. There we go. All right. So now we just glue it together. We just glue it together. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to take some, whoops, paint and get that inside. Why did I use pewter? Seriously. You know what? The pewter actually looks pretty good. The pewter looks pretty good. Let me go back to the pewter. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to repaint these, and you can just skip ahead to the next section. See, the pewter looks so much better. You can skip ahead if you want, or just continue to watch while I gab. So I've been trying to, for the longest time, to cut down the length of my videos, because I was getting a lot of complaints that my videos, I spend too much time talking and too much time explaining, and my videos are way too long. I get you. I hear you. But in the same respect, I get more emails from people saying that they appreciate the time that I take to explain something, because I primarily talk to beginners. My goal, and if you're not a beginner, that doesn't mean I'm excluding you. Come on, focus. Is I want to, my goal is to get you creating, and I want to talk to you if you're stuck, if you're learning, and if you're not sure what to do, just to get you creating. Get rid of that get rid of that perfection mindset and comparison mindset, comparing your art to others. And okay, let me finish this one. You are being difficult. So yeah, so that's why I spend a lot of time trying to explain, and I may, sometimes I tend to go, especially in the beginning of the project, I do a lot of explaining, and that was a lot of the complaints. Is people would say, stop talking and just make the art. Yeah, but if I just make the art, then I'm going to get 10 times more questions saying, well, how did you do this, and how did you do this, and how did you do this? I want to explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and especially if I make mistakes, how to fix it. Because I want to be able to help you, not just to make art. You guys know that most of the time I teach technique, and I just don't make something for the heck of making something. I want to teach technique. Because right now, let's see, what are you learning? You're learning about glazing, you're learning about contrast, you're learning about composition. I mean, these are all important things in art. Pop quiz. I think this will be pop quiz number 2. Okay, pop quiz. What the way that I teach, what is the most important element in any art? And if I don't get comments from people that were my students, then I'm gonna go all bat crap crazy on you. What is the most important element in art that I teach? And hint, 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 it has absolutely nothing to do with the medium itself. So my question applies to anything. Anything. I think I have to now give you the answer. Value. Value, 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 value. Not value as if, worth something worth $10 or something. I mean, lightness and darkness of a color. Because without value, your stuff is going to be boring as all get out. It's going to look flat. I mean, imagine if all the pieces were one color. I mean, we have value here, dark, light. We have value here, dark metallics, light metallics. Even here, the inside is dark. That's how you have to have, how you create depth in your artwork. So I'm just creating some lighter pieces here, even though it's just color, for some contrast. Now, I don't know if this will work, and I don't know if I should do this, but I'm going to be creating, and I don't see why not, because we're all about experimenting. That's the other thing I love to do. Experiment. Some of them work, some of them don't, but it helps show you the possibilities of what you can do with the products. And if you like what you see, then you can go out and buy it. And a lot of you DIY the stuff yourself. So I'm going to take some heavy gel medium, and then I'm going to take a clean part of a paper towel. I'm using all my dirty paper towels now to reuse them. And clean the palette knife. And then take some matte medium. Roughly equal parts. So what I'm creating now is I'm creating a satin finish. The heavy gel medium is much thicker. The matte medium is much thinner. So I want to create more of a satin finish. I don't know if this is going to work. There's some things chemically wise you shouldn't be doing because it changes the properties. I think this will be okay. I think it's interchangeable. It doesn't say anything on the bottle. But DecoArt's products are really, really good to work with each other. Mixing those is a different story. So usually I'll contact them and send an email saying, please send this to your chemist. Can I do this? And other than a varnish issue that I have, which is something I'm trying to do, which I can only get with resin. I can't get that effect with any of their products. Most of the time, yes, it's possible. You just have to try it. Just keep in mind that if you're experimenting with art that you want to last for generations, try not to do experimenting. Or if you do experiment, tell people, it's an experiment. I don't know if it will work, because you don't know if it's something's going to last. If it's something that's never been done before. All right. So I'm going to take this now and I'm going to apply a layer to the card. Nice and thick, because it's going to dry translucent. And the thicker that you put it on, the longer it's going to take to dry. And let's see, I want to put this one on first. Now I can turn around and put this on the back. I have to make sure I clean my tweezers though. When you put this on both sides, as I showed in many videos, is that it gives you more time to work with it. And see these lumps that I have in here? These white lumps? They're going to dry translucent. So I'm going to put that there. So I'm just going to continue assembling these. You can just skip ahead to the part where they're assembled, or you can just watch. And cheer me on that I make a mistake so I can show you what to do. Oh, and yeah, I have it over there. Piece of wax paper to be handy. I'm actually, yeah. Hopefully Joe's supposed to be home anytime now with Mia, and I just hope he can hold off until I'm done, because she will come in here like a bat out of hell, and she will, oops, sorry if you have any little ones, she will jump on me. I think I have to start putting little things at the beginning. If you have little ones, please put your headphones on. So as I'm overlapping these, you can see that they're lifting up a little bit. I'll come in with some medium to fill in some spots. That's a little bit. I want to keep that one by itself. Turn. Oh, you're being difficult. Okay, so now that I see what I'm doing, I'm going to grab my... I'm just going to spread these out a little bit. I'm just working with the composition now. So this is more of a center composition, but I am offsetting these so I don't have the same shape going around. So if this was like this, like this, like the bumps were exactly like... You can't see that. Seriously? If they were like... Try it again. If they were like this, to me, that's a pattern, and unless it's intentional, I don't want to see that. What I want to see is I want to see something like this, and something like this, and something like this. Okay, so I want to see something. I went to art school. I want to see stuff that's got some nice shape to it. And I think I have that here. But I want to make sure everything overlaps. So let me just, and I was just thinking, I was like, you know what, I had pretty sure I had more on here before. What it was is that plastic piece is, the plastic pieces made some extra space available. Like that. Okay, so starting to harden up already. So now I'm going to take my stick with the medium, and I'm just going to go in here. Oh, this stuff is so sticky. I'm going to put some of this in some areas. Remember, this is going to dry translucent, but it's going to add a beautiful effect to everything. I love using this to fill in space. Get that in there, especially where stuff overlaps. And what it's going to look like, it's going to look like water inside each of the pieces. And then when it starts to dry, I'm going to put some wax paper on top and then press it down to flatten everything. So my issue with that is, well, I'm going to lose some of this organic looking stuff here because it looks like water. If I add enough of this, it'll be fine. What I'll do is I'll just kind of spread this out. And I think I might be okay not having to add the wax paper right to the edge. And now I'm gonna add some pieces around to try to break up some of that, all that space, to make it look like it's pressed down. You know, like when you, if you think of when if you got a bowl of pudding, and then if you were to take, I don't know, something, a little round disc, and you push it in, and how it kind of goes around. I don't know how I'm trying to explain that. Like that. There we go. This is looking good. Because when you have overlap, you're naturally, and you can't get away with it, it's not going to be flat. So you got to fill in to add strength. Oh, Joe's here. Good timing. There we go. In the circle. I'm going to use up all of this here. Alrighty, so I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to go have breakfast with my hubbub. And when breakfast is done, this will all be dry. And I'm also going to glue these numbers down. These have to dry a little bit more. They're still a little bit tacky. So I'm going to dry these a little bit more. I'll glue those down as well. And then when we come back, you'll see what it looks like all done. Here we go. So it's all finished. It's not quite dry yet. It's only been about 6 hours. You can see it's a little bit opaque there, but you can get the general idea of what's going on here. So really the only thing that could do is just now vintage up the edges. Let me just quickly. You can grab some ink, and You can do this with paint as well, but you can just basically just cover up the edges. And what this does is the paper where it's white, it'll just become brown. But you can do this with paint as well. You don't have to use ink. This particular ink is not waterproof, so I don't use it a lot, but it is convenient when doing a demonstration. You can also just do it this way. Like that. You can also then, when it's finished, you can just take that, and you can do regular paint as well. Come in and just darken some areas. Just keep in mind that not waterproof, it will, you know, if your hands are moist, it will come off. All right, so there you go. So I hope that you enjoyed that video, and I would love to see your take on this. So don't feel restricted because you may not have the gears. Find something, it's any type of shape, something industrial. What I would love to do is see your take on this. So if you're watching this from YouTube, head on over to the Facebook group. That's where everything is happening, and you can post your picture, and then we can all comment, ask, find out, you know, post what kind of feedback you're looking for. If you're having problems with color or composition, values, you know, post that type of question so we know specifically how to help you. And if you're watching this from the Facebook group, yay! Thank you so much. So let me know what you think, and I'm going to prepare for the next video. So until I see you then, stay inspired.